chronographs. Complicated, cool, completely unnecessary. Unless you're regularly timing eggs, race cars, or how long it takes you to regret your AliExpress order. Now, we know the usual suspects on these lists. The Sea-Gull 1963, a dozen Speedmaster wannabes, and every brand named after a 1950s race car. But not here. This list has ground rules. Under £200, and every watch has to bring something genuinely interesting to the table. Let's dive in. Some of us love to flex our eco-cred while still looking like we stepped out of a GQ magazine spread. But let's be real. If someone offered a stunning watch carved from endangered Javan rhino bone and assembled by ethically questionable orangutan labour, most folk would at least think about buying it. Luckily, Detomaso, no, not the one with a fire-breathing V8 muscle car, has managed the impossible. A watch that looks killer and uses materials that make Greta Thunberg weak at the knees and BP executives break into a nervous sweat. What you get is a plastic watch with a Chinese-manufactured Japanese quartz movement starting at around £130. Yeah. But a 43mm case made from straws destined for the nostrils of turtles and seal-choking PET bottles, and a solar quartz movement from your favourite inkjet printer people, Epson, who also happen to crank out rock-solid movements when they're not jamming up your CV paper. But that's only half the story, because just look at this thing. From bold colours that keep a Just Stop Oil protester interested while his hands are glued to the road, to the concentric dial pattern that catches the light like a disco ball at an Extinction Rebellion rally. This thing oozes conscious fun. And 50 metres water resistance? Oh, it's poetic. This plastic was pulled off the coastline, and you better believe it has zero interest in going back. So Detomaso, choose your flavour. A snarling 6.5 litre V8 beast, or an environmentally conscious chronograph. Or how about, like me, both? The Riley Howard Hughes 01 Chronograph, inspired by the 1930s H1 racer and, apparently, your granddad's old Ford Cortina. Aeronautical flair with the subtle charm of a nicotine-stained driving glove. I'd have paid good money to be in that design meeting. Make it weird, ignore modern trends, throw in colours no one asked for, see if anyone's mad enough to buy it. And you know what? They were absolutely right. It's 42 by 40mm of raw industrial attitude. Like someone designed a watch with nothing but a hammer, a bit of scrap metal, and a design sketched in a pub on the back of a cigarette packet. Squarish, blocky, and unapologetically awkward. It's like turning up to a funeral in a leather jacket and shades. Technically wrong, but let's be honest, someone there's impressed. And the colour options? Like a Dulux paint chart curated by someone going through a messy divorce. Midnight blue for the moody minimalist. Sky blue if you want to cosplay as a vintage fridge. 1970s avocado green from your nan's loo. And full-on beaded seat cover in a dodgy taxi yellow. None of them go with your wardrobe, and that's the point. Upgrade your clothes or downgrade your taste. Either way, commit to it. Under the hood, Seiko VH64 Mecha Quartz goodness, sapphire crystal, a chunky retro leather strap, and 50 metres water resistance round off some surprisingly capable specs. And the price? £179. Less than a decent sheepskin coat, and you could do a lot worse. Hell, most people have. Just look at their dating history. Wear it with confidence or delusion. Either one works. Anyone that's ever met me will know two things about me. One, I have the wrist girth that will put Arnold Schwarzenegger to shame. And two, I lie. Constantly. So when Rollstimi dropped a 43mm chronograph with a physics-defying 46mm lug-to-lug, I was overjoyed. Finally, a big watch that doesn't hang off the sides like a dinner plate on a broom handle. And to all those I've casually lied to, nobody's gonna know. Now, what you're really getting isn't revolutionary. Just a pretty little trinket that looks like it cost 4 times what it did. Because at only 58 quid before discounts, it's cheaper than therapy for your wrist circumference insecurities and makes you look like you've got your life together. Which frankly, It's better than actually going to the effort of getting your life together. You get a thin 10.5mm stainless steel case, sapphire, 50 metres water resistance, and a strap made from leather and nylon, in two-tone, if that sort of thing turns you on. Inside, it's powered by the VD55 Quartz movement. Reliable, accurate, and Japanese. It might not be sexy, but who needs sexy when your dinner's on the table when you arrive home from work? I'll take punctuality over lingerie every day of the week. This Rollstimi chronograph is a statement piece. It's for those who love to oversell themselves and who know that sometimes, if you double down on a lie, a bit of an exaggeration becomes the truth. What happens when a Panerai Luminor, an Omega Seamaster and a full-fat Breitling Chronomat walk into a bar, knock back a few martinis and decide to make a baby? Normally, a design disaster of confusion that ends up in the clearance section of a dodgy, affordable luxury website for only £400 because they cut out the middleman without sacrificing quality. But against all odds and logic, Spinnaker actually pulled it off with the refreshed Hull chronograph. It shouldn't work. It's got the brawny, broad-shouldered cushion case of a 90s dive watch, Panda subdials that flirt with 60s motorsport vibes, but just enough swagger to distract you from the fact that it costs less than a 17-year-old boy racer's monthly insurance payments on a 1-litre Vauxhall Corsa with a fake spoiler and dreams of Nürburgring glory. Is it bold? Oh yes. Too big? Well, it's 42mm across and 47.5mm lug to lug, so if you've got wrists that look like they've been on a strict diet of oat milk and daddy issues, maybe give it a wrist. But for everyone else, it's big in a wears tight shirts at the pub and somehow pulls it off kind of way. Inside you've got the Seiko VK73 Mecha Quartz movement with big date complication. There's 100 metres water resistance, a mineral crystal and a properly chunky leather strap that looks like it smells faintly of testosterone and Old Spice. But it's the dial that really gets chatty. The old Hull Chrono? A bit of a charisma vacuum. It's had a glow up, fresh, retro and rocking a sandwich dial so tasty you'd half expect it to be toasted, then wrapped in paper. Less corned beef, more cheese. Lots of cheese. In fact, it's cheesy enough to make Jared from Subway drool. Though, frankly, let's not invite him to the party. All in all, you've got a watch that shouldn't exist, but currently on offer for just £185, I'm dang glad it does. What if you could get a chronograph from a proper watch brand steeped in 130 years of heritage, handed down through generations of the same Swiss family, all for the price of an AliExpress beta? Yes, ignore the fact that most of that legacy was spent churning out knockoffs for shopping centre jewellers, and please, don't bring up that their watches have spent less time beating in Switzerland than a Dignitas patient on a last-minute Ryanair flight to Zurich. It's still a proper brand, and I won't be convinced otherwise. Inspired by the Breitling Navitimer, or more accurately, the Zin 903, if you actually know what you're looking at. A bit of Seiko Flightmaster energy thrown in too. From across the room, luxury. From up close, well, did I mention that it's currently under £80? Spec-wise, we're rocking a completely unremarkable Japanese quartz because, as you know, Swiss brands always source their quartz movements from Japan. You'll get a mineral crystal, a 42mm stainless steel case, and not one, but two straps, a chunky aviation-style leather, and a colour-matched NATO that somehow screams pilot and PE teacher. But the piece de resistance? That glorious internal slide rule bezel. If you don't know how it works, don't worry, neither do 99% of the people who own one. I looked it up, then forgot again, so a fidget spinner. It's got a built-in fidget spinner. All in all, a genuinely decent, good-looking offering with actual features you can point at and nod like you know what they do. So the question is, with 80 quid in your hand, do you want a Pagani designed Speedmaster clone, a cheap box and a 2-week shipping delay, or this, a brand with real history, 2 straps and a bloody fidget spinner thrown in for free? Getting a mechanical chronograph for under £200 is hard, but not impossible. And let's be honest, This list could have just been 26 Suggest models and the obligatory Sea-Gull 1963. But where's the fun in that? So, which Suggest made the cut? One that turns heads, fits human-sized wrists, and makes you question how they managed to cram a mechanical chronograph into a case this compact without summoning David Blaine. Enter the S442, a shameless homage to the Zenith Chronomaster revival. It's 37mm wide with a 47.5mm lug-to-lug and just under 15mm thick. No dinner plate sizing, no weird proportions, just clean, restrained casework that actually makes sense in 2025. Inside beats the Sea-Gull ST1901-2, hand-wound, column wheel and surprisingly refined. Throw in a swan neck regulator, entirely unnecessary, delightfully showy, and suddenly it feels way more premium than the price suggests. The dial, genuinely sharp, crisp painting, clean contrasts, neatly recessed subdials, and just enough colour to keep it lively. That half black, half white version is my pick, even if the split awkwardly avoids every index like it owes them money. Will it bug me? Eventually. Do I still want it? Absolutely. Strap options? Loads, but the canvas gets my vote over the bracelet and the leather. Then there's a domed sapphire, a display case back, 50 metres water resistant, and all this for £175 before coupons. Yeah, Zenith diehard fans might side-eye you in the comments, but for the money, you're getting a proper mechanical chronograph that doesn't feel like a compromise. No pre-order faff, no gatekeeping forum bros, just a watch that swings well above its weight class and knows it. Confession time. I've never been into Casio. I know, blasphemy. Cue the angry mob and mass subscriber walkout. But hear me out. I respect Casio. I get the love, the toughness, the legacy, the whole I can survive a nuclear winter and still beep on the hour thing. But me, I've got baggage. Mid-90s, geography class. My Casio starts screaming and I've got no clue how to shut it up. Just me, red-faced, frantically pressing buttons like I'm trying to defuse a bomb with zero training. So yeah, digital watches and I, not exactly best mates. But this one, this absolute unit, it stopped me dead. Bold, unapologetic, and somehow genuinely cool. It's like Casio raided the parts bin and said, yeah, all of it. Analog, digital, overspec'd, and underpriced. Tough solar keeps it ticking from sunlight and desk lamps. You get a world time in 38 zones, a stopwatch down to 1/100th of a second, and more functions than your ex had red flags. And the dial? Busier than an insular in Instagram model meet and greet. And yet somehow, it works. It's shiny, smart, and just unstable enough to be fascinating. You even get Bluetooth, for reasons only known to Casio and maybe MI6. Maybe it's so you can stream your auntie's wedding slideshow on it, or just remind Rolex owners that their watch still can't even auto-update for daylight savings. But the best part? This madness can be yours for just £150. That's less than you and your mates spend on a pub round, and it'll last longer than the friendship once someone brings up politics. Right, so I've talked about this one before, drooled over it, bookmarked it, pretend I forgot about it, then mysteriously found myself rewatching YouTube videos about it at 1 AM like some kind of late night infomercial I didn't want to admit I was interested in. The Red Star Bullhead. The watch I've been lurking on for years like some kind of leather-strapped obsession, adding it to my cart, deleting it, then Googling, can you justify another chronograph during the cost of living crisis? I've spent less time deciding to move house. But now, I'm one click away from financial self-sabotage, and honestly, it feels right. Still, 42mm wide, 45mm lug-to-lug, and 15mm thick. So yeah, it's got presence, not in an embarrassing, overcompensating way. Just enough to let you know it's there without making it your whole personality. It's vintage without being desperate. Like someone who owns vinyl but doesn't tell you about it. A bit of a 70s dad energy, but in a good way, you know, before dad started wearing smartwatches to track their blood pressure. The specs? 316L stainless steel case, Hardlex crystal, and that deliciously nerdy ST19 hand-wound movement, column wheel, tactile pushers, and the kind of smooth chronograph action that makes you wonder why you're still pretending to time anything more important than how long it takes you to boil a kettle. It even ships with a bracelet, a spare leather strap, and enough retro charm to make you look back on 1970s BBC children's presenters with fond memories, rather than the monsters they became. And the colourways? Fully committed. We're talking proper motorsport vibes, none of that half-arsed, inspired by racing stuff with a single red hand. And let's not ignore the price, £178 before coupons. Great, but maybe wait until the next AliExpress sale for an even bigger bargain. So yeah, this might finally be my moment. If you see me posting wrist shots soon, just know I gave in. If not, maybe ask me in another 10 years. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed my completely pointless take on bargain chronographs, then please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.